420 Jim here. Yeah. Uh, just had a visit from Joplin's. I hope it's not Joplin's finest. Now, I will say Nick Corporal didn't overstep his bounds. He wasn't happy. He wasn't happy. He thought that, well, can you do this? And no, if I'm breaking the law, I'd do something. But if I'm not breaking the law, I don't even expect you to come by and say somebody complained or anything. I mean, you should have drove by and figured that I wasn't breaking the law and went on your way. But I'll tell more of the story here in a minute when we get a couple people in. I started the video on YouTube, and then people weren't joining in, and I went ahead and moved it over to my Facebook page. So if you want, you can go to my Facebook page and pretty much see the full video. It's 15 minutes or so. You will see this officer actually get out and measure off the distance. And I tried to give her a good 1.5 to 2 foot benefit, and she wanted to even argue on that. So the distance that you have to be is 30 foot. And she literally measured it off, and we have it on camera, 55 foot. See, I didn't want to be within 30 foot of a fire hydrant. I didn't. I can be. You can be. You can be within 10 feet of one, I think. You can't park in front of one or nothing, but it's not a 30 foot circumference from them, but a stop sign there is. Okay, my bumper is here, and I am right at 30 foot from the fire extinguisher. It's another 25 foot to that stop sign. Well, actually the curb. The way I interpret the law is from this stop sign, 30 foot. That gives it an extra foot because she argued with me and said, nope, it's here at the curb. Well, I'm trying to get her to start it here where it's supposed to be. So I was trying to give her an extra foot. But from this curb to the bumper of the motorhome is 55 foot, making me totally within the law. But it was all planned and set up. There's a butt wipe over here working at the Conoco station that called the cops and said she don't like me parking here, that people are having trouble coming around me and going to the stop sign and stuff. Here's the funny thing. Hey, Big Stank. That sounds exactly like trolls. It does, Hell, semis, but everything's come by here all day yesterday. Nobody's had a problem. All of a sudden, some butthead at the Conoco has a problem, calls the cops, and they're going to first tell me to move. That's what the lady was trying to do, and I'm like, you get a sergeant here. I started this on YouTube, but people weren't coming in, so I went ahead and put it on Facebook real quick. I figured, everybody on Facebook, but yeah. So I'm going to do all my lives now like this on YouTube, and if people join, fine. If not, they can watch it later or catch the beginning later or whatever, and I'll share it. Oh yeah, but see, that's a good thing. World Life, that's a good thing. Oh, I'm definitely calling corporate office on Conoco to see why the hell. But see, here's the whole thing. I can show you a video that's over 15 minutes long of the lady officer parked there at that building, halfway down the tan wall beyond the blue. She was parked over there like this. I've got a good 15 minutes of video of her being parked back there. So I could see her on my camera and everything. So when she pulled up here a few minutes ago and put her lights on behind me and started to harass me, it didn't work out too well for her. Morning. It didn't work out too well for her at all. But she's like, well, we'll take care of it when my sergeant gets here or whatever. And I'm like, oh, you think you can change the law? I mean, you can call anybody you want, but the law's the law. And here's the thing. If you go watch that video you can see the whole video, but you got to go to my YouTube, my Facebook. The corporal, he kept saying, well, we're going to measure it. It took 3 or 4 times me asking him, because he couldn't comprehend it or whatever. I'm like, well, what is the distance? How far do I have to be back from that stop sign? And he finally said the same thing I told them when they pulled up, 30 feet. See, I know these ordinances. I've been through this stuff. These guys don't know nothing about 2014 when I come through Joplin and Springfield and stuff. Here it is 11 years later, and they're still stuck back into being idiots, you know? We got better things for law enforcement to do than harass citizens, especially there. She looked up the law, which she should have done when she was down there for 20 minutes. She knows that the law says 30 foot from the stop sign. Okay, my motorhome's 30 foot. It's damn near twice the length from here to that stop sign. I would think cops would be able to judge distance a little better, but evidently she don't have any sense of distance. But she says, well, we got a complaint. And I'm like, so? People complain about all kinds of things. They don't change no laws. Well, I don't care if they complain. Go tell them that I'm not breaking the law, do your job, and have a good day. But, no, I asked for a sergeant, and they sent a corporal. I don't know, corporal's under or above, it don't matter, as long as he upheld the law. And that's what happened. So I thought I'd do a little quick live and let y'all know. Of course, the idiot trolls went crazy, you know, message after message, talking about welfare check like they sent them. Nah, it was nothing to do with the welfare check. And they ain't a cop in the world going to come do a welfare check on an RV on the side of the road like that, you know. I wouldn't think they would. I mean, they are some stupid cops, so maybe they would. But it just goes to show you can't cure stupidity. Can't cure stupidity. And the good thing is, I'm still here. And he says, well, can you do us a favor and move back? And I'm like, hey, what's your magic number? What's your magic number? I'm back almost twice the distance that I have to be. You know, if I wanted to be a dick about it, I could move up to the 30-foot mark. And there's not a damn thing they can do about it. Not one damn thing they can do about it legally. Give me a ticket like I told them. I'll go fight it in court. I could go right now and mark off from where she on camera says 30 feet and actually go 31, you know, put me a little mark there and put my bumper right up to it. But see, I'm not that way, and I'm not going to do that. But you know, they want to get mad because I don't want to move because some, you know, and like I say, there's driveways at both ends of that damn gas station, and if they can't navigate through there, they need to be pulling them people over, not me. Hell, I've had dump trucks, semis, all kinds of stuff come around the corner, no problems. Hey, hi, back at you. So, see, this is why I say subscribe to my channel, please, and hit the live notifications, because I'm in a legal state, for Christ's sakes. I'm in a legal state, and I get harassed by the cops. And we know why it is. It's because of my vehicle. It's because of me. You know, anybody else parked here, they ain't gonna come and do that and try that shit with. I was in Emporia, Kansas, when a funeral home, same situation almost. I'm parked by a gas station, Finish Line, when I'm there all the time. Finish Line loves me. They give me free coffee and sodas. One day I didn't get there early enough to park on the Finish Line side, but there's parking on the other side of the street near the funeral home. And the funeral home has a big parking lot. Of course, I can't park there, but I can park on the street. They called the cops on me one day. And I'm like, dude, your client's not going to complain. Leave me alone. And, because, and I'm like, dude, they got this big ass parking lot and everything. Maybe some of the people that's going to come for this service support what I'm doing. But no, I'm not leaving unless I'm breaking the law. And I didn't. And I still go there every time I'm in Emporia. But if I can, I park on the gas station side. Because I'm not parking to try and piss no one off. But by gosh, if they had came here yesterday, within an hour or two of me parking, and said something and asked me nicely to move, I would have done it. We would have talked, hey, where do you suggest I go? What's a better place? Hey, how about across the street there? You think that'd be on? Watch my other videos. That's the way you do that. But, yeah, when they threatened me, game over. Give me that ticket. I will be here to fight it. Sergeant Woody knows that best in Kingston, Tennessee. Hey, and by the way, before I tell you that story about Sergeant Woody, and that's where my name got changed. Kingston, Tennessee is where the judge legally changed my name to 420 Jim. That's a true story. I got the birth certificate, driver's license, everything says 420 Jim. This was in Kingston, Tennessee, and a state trooper pulls me over. And he tells me my eyes are red. He finally admits that he sees the cataracts in my eye. And he says, well, I still think, you come back here, buy my police car and do some sobriety test. And I'm like, oh God, okay. I mean, what are you going to do? And they're tests designed for drunks, so, whatever. And he was being a bit of a arrogant cop about it, because he you can set your phone down, and because I was on Facebook Live when all this was happening, and he said, you can set your phone down and keep recording, and so he let me set it down. And then we're out there like 10 to 15 minutes total time. Raise a leg, look at the pin, all this crap. You know what he tells me? He says, you passed. And I'm like, oh, cool. Because I'm shaking like a leaf, You never know what they're going to say. But you never believe his next words after he told me I passed. He said, I want you to pull down to the next exit and pull into the Exxon station where I will meet you, and you will receive your ticket for failure to maintain lanes. And I looked at him. He had his sergeant stripes. His name was Sergeant Woody. And I said, man, you're just doing this to justify pulling me over when you just flat out profiled me. There's no need for this. I'll be. And he says, I don't lose in court. What are you going to do? So I pulled down into the gas station like he asked me to. I start to go around the police call, and because there's two of them now. I start to go around while he's setting his ass on the seat with one foot out the door and writing the ticket. The other one is standing outside of his cars, the arms crossed, just staring you down type thing. And I start to go around the back of the cruiser, just filming. Hell, I went behind both of these two to here today, the city police. They didn't tell me I can't. Oh, Sergeant Woody, you can't go behind there. I'm like, why? And he said, I'm in fear for my life. One of the stupidest statements I ever heard, one of them say. I'm not armed, no nothing, just good old peaceful hippie, and they got all kinds, and he's in fear for his life. So at that time is when he says, you can step inside until we get the ticket wrote and get out of the rain if you like, because we did. We had light rain and light wind. So he gives me the ticket, and when I get to Knoxville, a couple, 15, 20 miles down the road, I call back to Kingston, and I'm like, hey, how long y'all want me to be in your town? You might want to Google my vehicle and who I am, but I plan on taking this ticket to court. When can we get it in court? They called me back 15 minutes later and said, can you be here in the morning? And I'm like, sure. And I went there the next morning, and 15 minutes later, the judge took a recess. What happened was the officer got on the stand and he said that I almost crossed the center line. And the judge asked him, did he cross the center line? And he said no. And see, I love the fact that this officer told the truth. Because had he lied, I would have been screwed. They always believe the officers. But he told the truth in the whole testimony. That's what sunk him. He told the truth. So when I got to ask him questions, I said, you testified that I was headed towards the center line. And I said, did I cross it? Because I was trying to catch him up, because when the judge, but he had to answer the same thing he did to the judge. No. I said, you testified that I drifted towards the rumble strip. Did I hit the rumble strip? And he said, no. And that's when I threw my arms up in the air and said, well, what did I do wrong? I looked at the judge, what did I do wrong? And the judge takes that gavel and slams it on the thing there and says, a recess. He comes out 2 minutes, 3 minutes later. I don't notice Sergeant Woody has left the courtroom. He calls up another case. It's like a 3-minute case. When that case is over, he calls me back up. And back then, my name was Stevens. He said, Mr. Stevens, your case is dismissed. You're free to go. And news reporter comes over, blah, blah, blah. He was in the courtroom. As I'm leaving the courtroom, I've got my shirt with my pot leaf on the front and back that I do. And I'm giving the courtroom and everybody the peace sign. Because, they were, the judge had to say, okay. He had to settle the court down. But there's a picture of me leaving the courtroom, giving the judge the peace sign as I'm walking out of the courtroom. That was on like page 2 or 3. But the front page of the Kingston, Tennessee newspaper was a 3-word title. To be blunt. And it had a giant picture of the RV with the flags and everything flying on it. The cool thing is, 8 or 9 months later, I come back through that town. I'm on private property, and a state trooper comes pulling up. He don't have his bar on, but he comes flying in, stops, gets out, and I about have a heart attack. It's Sergeant Woody. He comes over to the table, reaches his hand out and says, I respect you, and shook my hand, got back in his car and drove away. Good cop, attaboy. But if nobody's got any questions, comments, or concerns, I guess I will get out of here. Go back to my day. I think I'll put the flags out and stuff and really get some attention now. I don't know when the rain's supposed to come back, but we had some pretty good rain all night. It just stopped about an hour ago. But hopefully the cops and stuff will mind their own business today. Hey, and please sign the petition. It's in the description there. Sign the petition. There's a couple, like a minute and a half, maybe 2-minute video that I'm going to turn back to public. I haven't had a chance. As soon as it uploads, that if you want to watch, it'll be available here in a few minutes after I turn it to public. You got to wait until they download before I can turn them to public. Anyhow, that is the beginning where she first pulls up and comes and contacts me. And then when she gets in her car calling the sergeant in, I went ahead and switched it over to Facebook. You can watch the entire thing on Facebook. Type in my legal name, F-O-U-R, my middle name 20, T-W-E-N-T-Y, and my last name Jim, J-I-M, and that will pop up on Facebook. And you can go watch this morning's live if you like. That happened just 30 minutes ago or so. I'll be back at noon here on YouTube. I do a noon and a 7 p.m. live where people come talk to me. I talk to them or whatever. Join me then. I do one at 4:20 on Facebook. All this is about one thing and one thing only. Well, actually it boils down to 3 things. The biggest thing is no one belongs in jail for weed. The second thing is it needs to be federally legal, and we need our gun rights back as the third. If you screenshot and scan that, you can be on the petition. If you can't screenshot for some reason, go to 420gym.com. If you're in Joplin today, come by. I'm here on Range Line Road and 12th Street. Come see the Cannebago. Remember, everyone needs a little Jesus. And that's how you spell my name if you want to find me on Facebook or anything. So, my friends, until noon here and 420 on Facebook, unless I get harassed again, that is, it's all about peace, love, and cannabis for all. One team, one dream, united we stand, and if we try, we can all get along. My dogs love you, I love you, and Jesus loves you. Catch you later, folks.